I need to tell you something I've been carrying for a long time. And I don't know if I'll ever find the right moment to say this out loud, face to face, with my eyes looking into yours. So I'm saying it here like this because I'm scared. I'm genuinely, deeply scared. Not of you, never of you. I'm scared of what happens after I say this. I'm scared of what changes. Because right now, in this moment, you still don't know. And there's something strangely beautiful about the version of me that exists before you find out. But I can't keep it inside anymore. I've tried. God, I've tried so many times. I've started this sentence 100 times in my head and stopped myself every single time. But not today. Today I'm telling you everything. I want you to stay right here with me for a little while. I know you have places to be, things to do, a whole life happening around you. But just for these few minutes, just stay. Because what I'm about to say to you is the most honest thing I've ever said to anyone, and you deserve to hear it, even if it scares me to say it, even if my hands are trembling right now, even if somewhere deep inside me, a part of me is already wishing I could take it back before you even hear it. Not because I don't mean it, but because meaning it this much is the most vulnerable I have ever felt in my entire life. I've watched you from a distance, and I don't mean that in a strange way. I mean it in the way that someone watches a sunrise and doesn't want to make a sound because they're afraid the beauty will disappear if they move too fast. That's how carefully I've noticed you. The way you show up, even on the hard days, the way you smile through things that would break most people, the way you care, not just about the people in your life, but about the world around you, about little things, about moments that no one else would even notice. I notice them, I notice you, and I know you might be listening to this thinking, is this really for me? Yes, it's for you, exactly you, the one who sometimes feels like she gives too much and receives too little, the one who loves deeply but wonders if anyone will ever love her back with the same kind of full, fearless, completely irrational love. I want to be that person for you. I want to be the one who looks at you and chooses you, not because you're perfect, but because every single imperfect part of you feels like the most perfect thing I've ever seen. There's something I've been thinking about for months, and I kept telling myself to wait for the right moment, wait until you're more certain, wait until you're sure. But here's the thing, I am sure. I'm more sure about this than I've ever been about anything in my entire life. And that certainty doesn't feel like logic or reason. It feels like peace. It feels like the quietest, most still version of peace. The kind you feel when you finally stop running and realize that the place you've been looking for was right here the whole time. You are the place I've been looking for. I remember the first time something about you stayed with me. It wasn't a grand moment. It wasn't something cinematic or dramatic. It was just a small thing. The kind of small thing that somehow takes up enormous space inside your heart and refuses to leave. And I thought about it for days afterward. I kept thinking about you, about that moment, about what it meant. And then I thought about it some more. And before I knew it, weeks had passed, and you were still there in my thoughts, in my quiet moments, in the last few seconds before I fall asleep. That's when I knew. That's when I understood that this wasn't something I could simply ignore or outgrow or move past. Because the truth is, I've tried to not feel this way. I've told myself it's too much, it's too soon, it's too complicated. I've talked myself out of it, and then right back into it, more times than I can count. And every single time I thought I was done. Every time I thought I had convinced myself to let it go, I'd hear something or see something or just sit in a quiet room and somehow end up thinking about you again. About the way you make me feel like the world has more color in it. About the way being near you, even in the most indirect, distant way, makes something inside me feel less lost. I'm not a perfect person. I need you to know that. I'm not going to stand here and pretend that I have everything figured out or that loving me would be easy or uncomplicated. It wouldn't be. I carry things, I have fears, I have days where I go quiet and disappear inside myself, and I don't know how to explain it to anyone. I have old wounds that haven't fully healed, and soft spots I don't let most people see, but I want you to see them. I want you to know me, the real version, not the one I show the world, but the one underneath that. The one that gets tired and unsure, and sometimes just needs someone to sit close without saying anything at all. And I think I really genuinely believe that you would understand that version of me, because you have that kind of softness in you, not the fragile kind, the strong kind, the kind of softness that comes from someone who has felt pain and chose tenderness anyway. That's rare. That's so incredibly rare, and I don't think you even fully know how rare you are. I wish I could make you see yourself the way I see you. Just for one moment. Just so you could understand why someone could fall this completely and this quietly and this deeply for you. And now we're getting to the part that terrifies me the most. The part where I actually say what I've been building toward this entire time. The thing that's been sitting at the center of everything I've told you so far. I keep pausing because once I say it, it's real. Once the words are out there, they exist in the world, and there's no pulling them back. But maybe that's okay. Maybe some things are supposed to exist in the world without a safety net. Maybe this is one of those things. What if this didn't have to stay a feeling? What if this, whatever this is between us, this quiet electricity, this unspoken understanding, what if it became something more? What if I stopped waiting for the perfect moment and instead just made this moment perfect by being completely, irreversibly honest with you? I don't want to spend another night wondering what could have been. I don't want to look back years from now and realize that I had this feeling, this enormous, consuming, beautiful feeling, and I let it go to waste because I was afraid. I think about what a life could look like with someone who truly sees you, who doesn't just love the version of you that's easy to love, but stays for the version that's tired and unsure, and still figuring things out. I want to be that presence in your life. I want to be the one you call when something good happens, and you need someone to be just as happy as you are. I want to be the one you lean on when things get heavy. Not because I'm trying to be your whole world, you have a world, and it's a beautiful one. But because I want to be a consistent, gentle, real part of it. I've imagined what it would feel like to just sit with you. Not even doing anything remarkable, just sitting, talking about small things, and big things, and everything in between, laughing at something that isn't even that funny, but somehow becomes the funniest thing in the world, because we're both there for it. Sitting in a comfortable silence that doesn't need to be filled, because the presence alone is enough. I've imagined that so many times, and every time I imagine it, something in my chest aches with how much I want it to be real. And here's the part where I have to take the deepest breath I've ever taken, and just say it. Just let it leave my mouth and exist in the open air, where you can finally hear it. I want you, not in a passing, fleeting, temporary way, in the kind of way that doesn't have an expiration date, in the kind of way that makes me want to be better. Not because you've asked me to be, but because being near you makes me want to be the best version of myself that I can possibly manage. You make me want to be someone worthy of the love that you deserve to receive. And so, with my heart in my hands, and my voice barely steady, and everything inside me, hoping that you don't disappear after hearing this, I'm asking you something, not out of pressure or expectation. Not because I want to change anything that doesn't want to be changed, but because being silent about it any longer feels like the greatest dishonesty I could commit against both of us. I'm asking you if there's a chance. If somewhere inside you, in a place you might not have looked in a while, there's a door that hasn't been opened yet. I'm not asking you to fling it wide open right now. I'm just asking if the door exists. Because if it does, if there is even the quietest, smallest part of you that has wondered, even once, even briefly, what it would be like, then I want you to know that I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not saying this and then disappearing into silence. I'm saying this because I mean it with every part of me that knows how to mean anything. And I will still be here tomorrow, and the day after that, patient and honest and completely embarrassingly beautifully certain about you. I keep thinking about what comes after this moment, about what you're feeling right now as you hear this. Maybe you're surprised, maybe you're emotional, maybe you're somewhere you didn't expect to be when you started listening. Maybe you're sitting with something you didn't expect to sit with today. And whatever that thing is, I hope it feels warm. I hope it feels even just a little bit like something you've been waiting to hear from someone, even if you didn't know you were waiting. You deserve to be loved like this, loudly and quietly at the same time, fully and patiently, with complete honesty and with the kind of tenderness that doesn't ask anything in return. You deserve someone who thinks about you in the moments that have nothing to do with you, and somehow you end up there anyway. Someone who chooses you not once, but every single day in every small decision and every large one. Someone who looks at the ordinary moments of your life and sees something worth cherishing. I don't know what you're going to do with everything I've just said. I don't know what happens next. And for the first time in a long time, I think I'm okay with not knowing, because I said it. Because it's real now. Because you know, and knowing feels like the first breath after holding it for too long. Whatever you decide, whatever you feel, whatever comes next, I just needed you to know that somewhere out there, someone thinks about you with this much care. Someone carries the thought of you like something precious. Someone is saying your name in the quiet of their own heart long after the noise of the day has gone. And I think that matters. I think it matters more than most people say out loud. Because we live in a world that moves so fast, that is so loud, that is so full of distraction and noise and things that demand your attention every single second. And in the middle of all of that, the fact that someone slows down for you, the fact that someone stops everything and thinks about you with intention and gentleness and real honest feeling, that is not a small thing. That is one of the biggest things there is. And I want you to let that in. I want you to let yourself feel it, even if it makes you a little uncomfortable. Even if you're not used to being on the receiving end of something this open and this sincere. Because I know you, not in the way that sounds like a claim or an assumption. I know you in the way that someone knows the shape of a thing they've studied carefully, with full attention, with genuine curiosity and love. I know that you carry more than you show. I know that there are versions of you that most people never get to see. The version that gets tired, the version that overthinks at 2 in the morning, the version that replays conversations and wonders if she said too much or not enough, the version that sometimes just sits alone with her feelings and doesn't know what to do with them. I know that version exists, and I want you to know that that version exists, and I want you to know that that version, the one you try to keep tucked away from the world, that is the version I am most interested in. That is the version I most want to sit with. People spend so much time showing their best, their most curated, most polished, most presentable selves, and there's nothing wrong with that. I do it too, everyone does. But somewhere underneath all of that, there's a real person, a soft, complicated, beautifully flawed real person who just wants to be seen without having to perform, without having to be interesting or impressive or put together. Just seen exactly as she is, in whatever state that happens to be on any given day. That is what I'm offering you. Not a perfect relationship, not a fairy tale with no rough edges. I'm offering you realness. I'm offering you someone who will look at your rough edges and not flinch. Someone who will sit in the mess of a hard day with you and not need it to be anything other than what it is. I've been thinking about the word home a lot lately, what it actually means. Because I don't think it's a place, not really. I think home is a feeling. It's a specific kind of peace that you carry in your chest when you're with the right person in the right moment. And everything just settles. The noise gets quieter. The weight gets lighter. The world shrinks down to just that small, warm space between two people who genuinely want to be near each other. I felt that feeling before in small doses, in brief flashes. But I've never felt it the way I imagine I would feel it with you. I've never wanted to build that feeling with someone. the way I want to build it with you. And that wanting, that deep, quiet, persistent wanting, is not something I take lightly. It is not something I've ever felt this clearly before. There are mornings when I wake up and the first thought that comes into my head, before anything else, before the day has even properly started, is a thought of you. And it's not a dramatic thought. It's not some grand cinematic image. It's something small. It's wondering whether you slept well. It's hoping that whatever you're walking into today is going to be kind to you. It's wanting for no reason I can fully explain. For your day to be good. For the light to fall on you in a way that feels gentle. For the people around you to see you the way I see you. For the universe to, just for today, be a little bit extra kind to the person who deserves it more than most people I have ever known. And I wonder sometimes if you feel any of it. I wonder if there are moments in your day where something shifts, where something settles, where you feel for just a second like someone out there is thinking of you with real warmth. I hope you feel it. I hope it reaches you, somehow, across all the noise and the distance and the everything that exists between us. I hope it finds you in the quiet moments and sits with you like a hand placed gently on your shoulder that says, without any words at all, you are not alone. You are thought of. You are cared for. You matter so much more than you know. I want to tell you something that I've never told anyone. Not because it's a secret exactly, but because it's the kind of thing that feels too tender to say out loud most of the time. There are moments, small, ordinary, unremarkable moments, where I feel genuinely happy. Not the big performance kind of happy that comes from achievements or recognition, or things going the way you plan. I mean the quiet kind. The kind that has no real reason to exist except that it just does. And almost every single time I trace that happiness back to its source, I find you somewhere near the beginning of it. A thought of you. A memory of something you said, or did, or were. Some small piece of you that found its way into my day without being invited, and somehow made the whole day better just by being there. That is not a small thing to admit. That is, honestly, one of the most vulnerable things I have ever said. Because it means that you have gotten inside something in me that I don't usually let people near. It means that without even trying, without even knowing you were doing it, you walked right past every wall I had built and made yourself completely at home in a place I didn't know I was keeping empty, waiting for someone like you to arrive. And now I have to tell you the part that has been the hardest to sit with. The part I've been avoiding even as I've been saying all of this. Because everything I've told you so far, as real and as honest as it is still somehow the easier part. The harder part is this. I'm terrified that this isn't enough. I'm terrified that the words don't carry the actual weight of what I feel. That by the time they reach you, they've lost something essential. Some crucial piece of the original feeling that I can't translate into language no matter how hard I try. I'm terrified that you'll hear all of this and it still won't fully communicate what it's like to be me. In the quiet of an ordinary evening, completely consumed by the thought of you, because feelings like this don't really live in words. They live in the catch of a breath, in the way time slows down, in the strange, almost painful tenderness that fills your chest when you care about someone so completely that the caring itself almost feels like too much to hold. That's where this lives. That's where you live, inside me. Not in sentences or phrases or carefully chosen words, but in that wordless, trembling, luminous place that doesn't have a name, but that every person who has ever truly loved someone knows exactly what it feels like. I want to ask you something, and I want you to really sit with it before you answer, even if you're answering only to yourself. When was the last time someone made you feel like you were the most important person in the room? Not the most impressive, not the most useful, not the most needed, but the most important. The one that everything quietly orients toward, not because of what you do, but simply because of who you are. When was the last time you felt that? And if it's been a while, if you're sitting there right now, realizing that it's been longer than it should have been, then I want you to know that it breaks my heart a little. Because you should feel that all the time. You should walk through every room of your life, feeling like the ground beneath your feet is solid, and the people around you see you and the world is, on some fundamental level, glad that you're in it. I want to be part of what makes you feel that way, not all of it. I'm not trying to be everything. I know better than to try to be everything. But I want to be a part of it. I want to be one of the reasons you feel seen.